Hey guys, Heidi Preep here. Welcome back to my channel. I am sneaking this video in today. I'm trying to film it before I really notice that I'm filming it, because I have my dissertation for my master's degree in attachment theory due in 2 weeks, and I am super down to the line right now. So I told myself, no more YouTube until I am done. And then I woke up and I really wanted to film a particular video. So I decided to sneak into my office before I was fully awake enough to notice and see if I could get this filmed within half an hour. So let's see if I can do that. So what I want to talk about today is a term that I want to be clear is made up. There is nothing that I know of established in the field of psychology called the worthiness wound. Although I did Google it, and I know a woman named Thais Sky, who I believe I follow on Instagram, has a bunch of work on her podcast around something that she has named the worthiness wound. But anyway, I wanted to call this particular phenomena the worthiness wound because I imagine that's language that a lot of people can relate to. So I hear a lot of conversation out in the world, out on the internet, in attachment healing spaces, about people feeling like they are not worthy or deserving of love and healthy relationships. And I imagine in a lot of cases that's a kind of natural extension of the anxiously attached wound, which kind of looks at the world through the lens of I am not okay. There's something wrong, broken, not good enough in relation to myself, but other people are okay. So I need to focus all of my energy, all of my efforts on getting other people to love me and approve of me so that I can become okay through osmosis of other people's okayness, right? So this is, in my opinion, kind of the same thing as having what I would call a worthiness wound. You might also call this the mother wound, the belief that there is inherently something not good enough about you, right? Something that means you should not or do not deserve the same love and care and attention and affection and self-respect and self-love that other people seem to more naturally have. Now, healing this type of wound takes a lot of work, and I am unfortunately not going to be able to tell you how to do it comprehensively in this video. But what I want to talk about is actually a particular phenomena that I've been witnessing online as well as in real life, where people are kind of waking up to this wound, right? So they're going, oh my gosh, I'm realizing for the first time in my life that I am just as worthy as anybody else for going for the things that I want in life and for having a good, fulfilling, rich, wonderful life, right? There is nothing inherently flawed, broken, wrong, bad with me. So now, where is the life that I want, right? There can be this kind of dissociation, I've noticed, where as soon as people start having these aha moments about how there isn't anything wrong with them, they are a wonderful, lovable person just like everybody else, there's then this expectation that develops that because they are worthy of the same good lives that everybody else seems to have, they ought to already have them. And I think the problem here is that the worthiness wound is being healed, but the competence wound is not. So a few weeks back on this channel, we talked about self-esteem, and I divided self-esteem into 2 categories that Nathaniel Brendan talked about, which was self-respect and self-efficacy. So when we have solved our worthiness wound, it means that we've gotten to a place of self-respect, right? We believe that we are worthy of going after and pursuing the things that we want in life, and there is no reason why we shouldn't get those things if we put in the same amount of work as everybody else. Now, the problem is that if you still have a wound in that area of self-efficacy, you don't understand that being worthy of those things doesn't mean you will automatically get them. You still have to figure out logically how to pursue what you want in life, and only then will you get it, right? So I kind of see healing the worthiness wound as putting yourself in the starting line for a race. You have decided, okay, there is no reason why I should not be competing in this race like everybody else. I deserve a place here. I deserve the opportunity to try. There's nothing inherently wrong with me that would disqualify me from being a part of this event. But that does not mean that you automatically get the gold medal handed to you. As soon as the gun fires and the race begins, you still have to learn how to run faster than other people if you want to win the race. And in order to figure out how to win the race, you have to figure out what the race looks like, what the qualities and mechanisms of the race are, as well as what type of work you need to put in order to get to the finish line and win the medal you want. So, taking this out of a metaphor, what does it look like in real life? When you have done work on this worthiness wound, but you feel like, wait a minute, where is this kind of life that I wanted on the other side of this work, right? It is on the other side of you healing the competency wound. So let's say your entire life you have felt kind of unworthy of love. You felt like there's something fundamentally flawed and broken inside of you, and you don't deserve the same love and respect and fair treatment that other people seem to get. Now, if you have healed that wound and you now know that you are a wonderful, perfectly lovable person just like everybody else, it does not mean everybody is automatically going to love you. If you meet someone and you want them to love you back, you have to really think, do I have the same values as this person? Am I offering the things that they want out of a partnership? Right? Because partnerships are not just about two people being lovable. Lots of people out there are lovable, lots of people out there are securely attached, lots of people know their value and worth, and they still aren't compatible with each other, right? So seeing yourself as worthy and lovable doesn't mean that automatically everybody else is going to fall in love with you. All it means is that you've taken down some of the walls and defenses that would otherwise get in the way, right? But if there's a particular person you want to be with, you still have to think about, am I offering what that person wants? Are our values aligned? What do they find attractive in other people? And is that something that I'm offering them? There's a quote from Dita Von Tess, who is a burlesque dancer, that goes, "You can be a delicious, ripe peach, and there will still be people in this world that hate peaches," right? So I think that when we get preoccupied with this kind of worthiness wound, this feeling of I'm not good enough, it's very easy to kind of chalk everything up to that, right? And go, if I just learn to love myself, if I just learn to respect myself, then everybody else would love and respect me too. But no, people still have preferences, and there are also things in the world that you have to use your cognition to figure out and work towards. So another example of this is, let's say you have a wound around thinking that you're not good enough to have a high-paying job. Like maybe you've been doing work for most of your life that you don't feel passionate about, and you are afraid to kind of go out on your own and try your own thing because you've decided like, oh, I'm not smart enough or interesting enough, or I'm not as charismatic as other people. And then you do some work on healing this wound and you're like, wait a minute, I could do all of these things, right? I could leverage my skill set, and I could become self-employed or ask for a raise at work or whatever it is that you need to take yourself to the next level in. But this does not mean that if you go into work tomorrow and ask for a raise, having not improved your performance whatsoever, having not added any value to the company, you don't deserve one just because you are a worthwhile, lovable human being, right? Raises are the result of hard work and of making your company extra money. A successful business happens when you find a need that other people have and you're able to fill it in a way that provides enough value for them that they are willing to pay you a certain amount of money for it. You being inherently lovable and worthy does not mean that magically your need to do the hard work to get the things you want in life disappears. All it means is that you are now in the running, right? You've decided that you deserve to be in this race of people who are going for the things they want in life and getting them, but it does not excuse you from doing that hard work. If you want to be with a certain person, have a certain job, experience a certain lifestyle, believing that you're good enough for that is step one. It puts you at the starting line. But figuring out a way to logically understand the mechanisms of what it is you're trying to get, and then finding ways that you can build the skills you need to build to get that thing is what actually gets you results. Right? So healing the worthiness wound will not give you what you want out of life. It will just allow you the self-esteem and the sense of confidence you need to build the skills that you then have to build in order to get the outcome. So I think that right now we are very focused on inner work in our society, and that's a great thing. Inner work is super important, but we have to remember that inner work only gets us inner peace. It doesn't get us achievements in the outer world. It doesn't get us interpersonal connections. It doesn't get us things that we can only get by actually putting effort into our lives, right? Because the outside world has different rules than the inside world. In the outside world, all the things that we want to get, we have to work for. We have to exchange a certain amount of value in order to get a certain amount of value back. In order to form close relationships, we need to give something that somebody else wants in order to get their love and care and affection in return. In order to get a certain job, we have to provide enough value for an organization to want to give us money in return. So what gets us the things that we want in our inner world is not the same as what gets us the things that we want in our outer world. So all of this is to say, if you've done a ton of work on your inner world and your inner sense of worthiness, and you're like, wait, where are my rewards? It might be because you are looking for rewards in the outer world when you have only done work in the inner world. And that just might mean that it's time to now shift your focus onto the outer world and figure out, now that I believe myself to be worthy and capable and lovable and just like everybody else, it might be time to start tackling that competency wound and working yourself to a place where you believe that you know how to tangibly, logically get the things that you want out of your outer world. All right. That's all I have to say for today on this topic. I might make some follow-up videos. I like the terms worthiness and competence wounds to kind of represent the two sides of the attachment spectrum. But as always, leave your thoughts, experiences, perspectives, questions, comments in the comments section below this video. And I hope you are taking care of yourselves and your inner children and each other. And I will see you back here again really soon.